thug life.
Soon,
Like the
the government is going to make the young black male, the young Hispanic male, the prime target of their all their resources and all their jail sentences and all their powerful weapons and technology will be the enemy. So unless we stop it now, regulate it, we're going to end up crashing against a wall.
And my music, and a lot of this music, it's only talking about to suppress, the oppressed rising up against the oppressor. That's all. That's what my music's about. The oppressed rising up against the oppressor. So the only people that's scared are the oppressors. The only people who could have any harm coming to them are those who oppress. Simple as that.
If you see it, you can see the little signs that says that the guns are turning away from, Europe and Russia and Iran and Iraq, and they're turning to us. You can look at it with the 3 strikes law. You can look at it when they're building more jails. They're starting to sell jail space.
Yeah.
Jail is big business. Believe me, I'm in jail. I see the big business. They charge you for your telephone calls. They charge you for disciplinary problems. Jail is big business. You can feed a whole town off one jail. This jail is in the middle of a town that feeds everybody. Everybody works here. This is the main income. So if there was no criminals, nobody would work. You know what I mean? So if we don't start keeping that, we're in trouble. America is the biggest gang in the world. You know what I mean? Look at how they didn't agree with Cuba. So what was the cut them off? I think gangs can be positive. It just has to be organized, and it has to steer away from being self-destructive to being self-productive. I think this country was built on gangs. I think this country still is run on gangs. Republicans, Democrats, the police department, the FBI, the CIA, those are gangs. You know what I mean? The correctional officers. I had a correctional officer tell me straight up, we the biggest gang in New York State. If you got somebody dealing drugs in the community, make them pay for the community center. Make them have hours that they can work on that block. You know what I mean? And if they don't want to listen, then you turn against them. Be security in your own neighborhood. You know what I mean? If we so strong as gangs and as hustlers and as G's and as thugs or whatever, it should be no rapes, there should be no violence, there should be no gunshots in our community unless we the ones sparking it, unless we doing that to somebody that's trying to infiltrate or break down our community. You know what I mean? All this money that we make in the streets, we should bring it back and turn it back into the community. We need to have block parties again. We need to have leagues, summer leagues, football teams, basketball teams. We need to start taking care of our own. That's how it can be positive. It can be positive when we start, sending these young G's to school, sending the younger G's to college. Let them come back and build something.
You know what I thought when I was in jail? What fucked me up, what turned me like this, is I was like, no politician could even get that. And I represent 5 million fucking there. And no politician could even check it for it. They're not even sending us nothing, trying to make us. They're not even thinking of it. In the business, if you want to fuck with somebody, you try to, they're not even looking at us like that. That means we ain't a threat. But by the next election, I promise, I'm going to be sitting across from all the candidates. I bet you. I'll be making it, I promise you. I'm not even going to be, I'm going to be so far from where I am now in 4 years. God willing, I'm alive.
Yeah, so, political reformer, right? Very different than the stance of Black Panther parties. I want to get involved in politics, have my own political party from the hip-hop community, and I want to sit across from the candidates. He didn't say, when I'm old. He didn't say, one day. I remember his interview, we talked about people, he wanted people to reminisce on when he was wild, right? He wanted to live long enough. People say, remember when Tupac was bad? Remember Tupac was, he wanted to be able to live that long, they could look back and laugh about that. But he wasn't talking, distant future. He said in the next 4 years. That's one election cycle, right? Presidential election cycle. It's one campaign away. That means by the next time somebody runs, he said, sitting across from them. That's a very unique vision for hip-hop even today. I don't really hear nobody talking like that. We're going to be sitting across from the candidates in 4 years? That's a big deal. And the fact that that's very, and this is going to be the consistent theme. He said the gangs can be positive, right? Gang reform. Every conversation can be something about, changing this, this thug life into something positive. Eventually, apparently, he got this idea that he can embody this life and make a change from within. Didn't work out that way, but we're going to talk about why. Here's a common question. What happened to the movement? Why is this generation, fill in the blank, man? Fill in the hate. It's blank. The kids today, right? Y'all just, nowadays you, right? Just Uncle Ruckus type, like, you was the best thing that ever happened to anybody, because you was the first one to have your movement on TV. Let's keep it 1,000. Because it ain't like they wasn't fighting lynching and Jim Crow and Hubert Harrison and all them wasn't, you know, doing it, and Robert F. Williams and Deacons for Defense. It wasn't like people wasn't arming themselves back then and fighting and petitioning, and David Walker wasn't appealing and risking his life, and Frederick Douglass wasn't standing there in the midst of a bunch of conservatives saying, what's this holiday meaning to me on the podium? Like, so to act like, back in my day, back when it got recorded and commodified, the 60s, okay, you was on TV with yours. That's the major difference. And you didn't have crack.
That's right.
Because you throw crack in that mix, that whole generation would look whole together different. Right? You live in New Jack City.